In the last video I made, the one called Windows 11 is the greatest thing to ever happen to Linux, a lot of people actually got mad at me because I said Linux was complicated. And in the other video, the one that immediately flatlined in viewership, I had one person just kind of agree with me. But I'm not talking about that other, the other video. I'm talking about that one Linux video because I said Linux kind of sucks and that Linux is complicated. And first I'll say is that I love Linux. I'm using Linux right now. I do all my recording, I do all my gaming, I do a lot of stuff on Linux. The only thing I don't do is my other alter ego for content creation. I do that on Windows because streaming on Linux is the worst thing on this planet, unless you're just doing programming, which I'm doing right now. But gaming and streaming on Linux is actually the ninth circle of hell, and you cannot change my mind. Nothing you can tell me now will make me agree with you. But beyond that, a lot of people got mad at me because I said Linux is complex. And I'm just gonna disagree with everyone by saying Linux is very complex because it is the only distribution where you're able to ask, oh, what what window manager are you using? Are you using PyCon, X11, or Wayland? What the fuck is any of that? A lot of it comes down to, needlessly overcomplicating everything. And what is it called? Every time they say Linux is simple, they overcomplicate it by immediately giving me a huge essay to read through and saying, yes, this is why it's simple. And it's like, guys, fucking caveman can open up a web browser and send an email. That's not what I'm arguing for. Like, good example, I guess. macOS. macOS, if you ever have a problem with macOS, it will solve the problem for you while you get to finish your box of crayons. In Windows, you kind of have to figure out what the problem is, but there's a lot of tools to help you get there, which is, I know, like a little bit more complex, but still fairly simple in my opinion. Linux. You introduce the problem. You have to solve it. You have to now fix it. And that's a lot of what Linux is. I love Linux. I understand that Linux is a lot of do-yourself, even though there's some other distributions, for instance, like Mint or Zorin OS that, what's what I'm doing, that guides you through everything. And it's impossible to say you won't never use the terminal, but you can really just limit the amount of times you have to even open that thing up. But overall, like, there's a lot of things where you don't really need to worry about stuff. It is very easy to use in some cases, but Linux is very complex. It is the only operating system where people talk about what window manager you're using, X11 or Wayland, which one's better, or if people will even complain if you like a different kind of text editor. Obviously, if I'm using a web browser, and that's all that I need, that's fine. Everyone can use a web browser. It doesn't matter what operating system you need. It really doesn't matter. I don't understand why people were getting mad at the fact, and I understand. I like when people disagree with me. I like when people challenge my ideas because I'm not right all the time. I'm wrong. I make mistakes, and that's fine. But something I don't understand is Linux is very easy to use. So why are people always confusing it with easy and simplicity? Linux isn't simple. Linux is unbelievably complex. And not only that, I was talking about the compositors, Windows managers. Yeah, what about what is it called? The actual operating system. Or do you use Arch? Do you use Ubuntu? Oh, Fedora. Who uses that? Come on, what other operating system even has this kind of problem where there's so many things? Linux is for everyone and for no one at the same time. It is impossible to get a good look at Linux and tell you what it does specifically, because it does everything phenomenally. But also at the same exact time, it's garbage. It's shit, depending on some of the tasks you want to do. People are gonna still complain, and I'm not gonna be mad about that. I like having my ideas challenged. I want someone to give me something meaningful. But if you're telling me that your 85-year-old grandfather is able to use a web browser, then that literally means nothing to me. That doesn't help your case. It's just so easy to use that an 85-year-old man can open up a web browser and send an email. Most technologically illiterate people can use a fucking web browser. That's not the issue. I don't blame anyone for even getting mad at me for that, because a lot of people who were getting mad specifically were talking about the years of experience they have on Linux, and a lot of it just comes from, over time you don't realize how like complex or how hard some of these things are for like the average person. And I'm talking about the average person, not an 85-year-old man. It's kind of weird. I'm not disappointed, obviously, but it's it's weird that people make this confusion. And I'm not trying to argue in bad faith. I admit I was a little mad about the fact that so there's many people who actually made that claim. One that just kind of like ticked me off, but even still, like I can recognize that, yeah, maybe I said the wrong word, maybe I said something wrong, and that's entirely fine. But I'm not, but it's weird and it's insulting when you disregard my entire argument because you're able to convince your grandfather to use Linux without even telling them. Of course, I can make anyone use Linux without telling them. Most people just use a web browser, do some light gaming. They don't even notice most of the time. But unfortunately, a lot of people do other things beside that. And they're really gonna notice. Oh, if you want to do video editing, good luck. You have to learn a brand new set of tools that may or may not even be that good. Oh, you wanna, what is it called? Audio? Psh, good fucking luck. Actually, fuck you. Audio? Go fuck yourself. I love Linux, but I also recognize all the problems that come with it. I'm never gonna sit here and tell you that the Linux is completely just out of the box work. KDE Plasma works out of the box. A lot of like what the features on Plasma work out of the box. But the moment you want to install something new, it gets hairy. We don't know what's going to happen. Most of the time it works stable, sometimes it doesn't. For instance, whenever I have to open up Steam, I have to actually close the Steam daemon or kill the Steam daemon and then relaunch it because for whatever reason it just breaks. And that just happens. It's okay. I'm not mad, but like there's always an extra step. There's always just some other thing that I have to worry about when it comes to Linux. I'm not sitting here talking about like Windows is great because the reason why I made that video was because Windows has just gotten so much worse that I'm able to like look at all the problems I have with Linux and say, yeah, they're nowhere near as bad as Windows now. So yes, Linux is complex. I will stand by this, and if you disagree with me, please let me know. I'm open for conversation. I'm willing to eat my own words and be wrong. I'm not I will not talk to someone who immediately says, "Yeah, you clearly don't know what you're talking about because you said Linux sucks." Guys, come on. Come on. I don't even know what to tell you. Like every fucking operating system sucks. Should I have doubled down for that? No, definitely not. Do I apologize? Yes, actually, genuinely speaking, I do because I love Linux. Am I sorry? Yeah. Because I do believe I used the wrong words. I absolutely love Linux, even with all the problems that it comes with. It is a fantastic operating system. I feel like my computer just runs so much better on literally any, whether it be like a window manager or any specific distro of Linux. So yeah, I know it's a little bit more incoherent than usual, but I feel like I just need to get that out there. And also I need to do a little bit of recovery because that last video I released, literally 8 views. I'm not even mad. It's just like, damn, that really did happen. All right, ciao.